We're going to go through step by step on how to make a can penny stove. These are very inexpensive, but yet they're very efficient. They're great for camping, for hiking, for survival. You can cook on it. You can even use it as a heat source. And it uses regular denatured alcohol. So we're just going to go step by step on how to make the penny can stove. Here's some items that you'll need. 2 cans, aluminum cans. You'll use both of the bottoms. And then also you'll need a Sharpie. You'll need a nail with a small hammer. Or I have a little punch here I'm going to use with the hammer. You'll need a pair of scissors or tin snips. And then you'll need some kind of heat resistant, and this is just gasket sealant. There's a lot of other stuff out there. This is silicone based, but it holds up very nice. You'll also need a little bit of fiberglass, and this is attic insulation fiberglass. This will go inside the can. Of course, I'll show you. You're not going to need this much, but this is just to represent what you're going to be using. You'll also want a file or a sanding block to help to clean up the edges on the can once you cut it. I have the little block of wood here so I can rest my halves when I cut these to be able to punch the holes. This will also be used to measure my lines here, and I need a little bit of a thicker piece. You can also use magazines or books for this as well, but you want a surface, a larger surface, and then a smaller that you can actually place on top of this to give you double, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is to mark your points, your leveling point. So you take your can, a Sharpie marker, and just turn the can around, and this puts an even line all the way around the can, the bottom of the can. You want to make sure it is the bottom and not the top, because we're going to be using the bottoms. Then we'll take another level and we'll come up and we'll use this on the second can. Now what you're going to want to do is punch a hole into the can way above your line, and then just start cutting around, still about a ½ inch above the line. Be careful not to cut yourself on this aluminum, because it will cut you. So we're just going to do away with this. Make the cut as even as you can, because you're going to need to kind of clean that up when you finish. Same thing with the larger one. Go ahead and discard the upper part. Be careful not to dent your can or crush it, because it'll make it harder to fit these two pieces together. Now you're going to want to trim out right around the edges just to get the sharp edges down, make it a little bit more of an even fit. One smaller, one larger. The larger one will go on top. That's where we're going to mark our holes. Okay, now we're going to mark our holes, and we take our Sharpie, and you're going to want to put a dot right in the center of the recessed area, and then you'll put 4 around it, evenly spaced. And you're going to want to make sure that it's not too wide apart, because you're going to want to be able to put a penny over those 4 or those 5 holes. From the outside, and we begin to just mark. And what I do is I go half and halves. Then I go quarter. And then just go down from there. End up usually with about 16 holes for my jets. Particularly precise, but you do want to get it as centered as you can, just to help it flow a little more even. Then you're going to want to take a nail and place right over the hole and then hammer it through, or you can also use a punch like I'm going to use in this demonstration. Place it on the black dot and just tap it through. Again, you're going to want to be careful not to crush this end, because it can happen, and if it does, it makes it very difficult. Then you just go around every dot, just make a hole, and these are making your jets. Faster the alcohol will burn, so you don't really want to make jets that are too large. Okay, we have all of our holes around the edges. We've got our holes in the center. Now I want to take the lower end, and we want to begin to crimp it, because these are the exact same diameter, so you're going to need to crimp this down, and that's where you use just a little pair of needle nose pliers. I wouldn't go too far down. Try to keep it up near the lip as much as possible. If you hear these little noises in the background, that's my little baby chickens. We're raising chickens, so. And you'll just want to get that around. As you can see, there's a little bit of Coke still left in this one, which most of the time we try to keep them very clean. And this will allow these two to fit. Now, before you do that, you're going to want to take your fiberglass, and this is your filler, and you're going to want to pack it in. And then we're going to bring in our lower section. Again, it's going to take a little bit of finagling to get that to do. Careful not to dent and crush the sides of your can. You don't want to go down too far with this, because what happens is if you squish it too far, then you're not able to really use this sealant because the lip comes down over it. So here we still have a few jagged edges. We're going to clean that up with a file, and then we're going to begin to place the sealant on there. A fairly smooth surface so the sealant will adhere to it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and unscrew the sealant, and then we're just going to put some around it. Then we're going to spread it out a little bit. You're really just wanting to kind of seal the crevice in between. And the less you've dented the can, the better this is going to hold. I try to get the excess off too as much as possible, just to keep it nice and neat. And once it's sealed up, you need to let it set for 24 hours before you continue. Now, to be honest, this is probably a little larger than I typically like. Usually about this size, which is about another third smaller. But you know, this will still work just fine. This one, as you can see, I've used it quite a bit, and I'm going to demonstrate the use of this with this little one. Now, denatured alcohol is a great source to be able to fuel your little camp stove. You'll need to put it in some kind of small bottle. This is a little bit larger bottle, but you can pack this away in your pack. And then, of course, it has this little, you can get it really precise on where you're putting your fuel. But also there's heat, and this is found in the automotive section. It is an alcohol that goes in your fuel lines in case you have freezing. So this is not going to necessarily be available during the summertime, and in fact, right now, you can find these on sale. I believe I paid $1.76 for this bottle. This quart of this denatured alcohol ran almost $8, and this will pack very easily, and you can use it instead of having to pick up a little extra bottle. Okay, we're going to take and just put the denatured alcohol directly into this little reservoir. Let it drain down. You don't have to be too careful. In fact, you really want a little bit of spillage, because what it's going to do is warm the alcohol inside. Now we're lighting up the alcohol itself. Now I'm going to take this penny and place it over the place where the fill holes. There we go. Now you can see it's lighting up very nicely. I'm going to cut these lights off for you to really get a good look at it. Really burns very nice. Now we had it burning for 12 minutes the other night. We had it filled and it burned solid for 12 minutes. The flames, you could see them. You have a really nice, the jets really spread out the flame evenly. So just a great little project. Yeah, that is one thing that you're going to have to do. Unless you can cover it and just starve it from oxygen, you're going to have it burn until it just stops. So now all you need is your little stove, just a little bit of denatured alcohol or heat, and a penny, and you're ready to go. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more sensible prepping. God bless America. Long live the Republic. What's going on here, because really you can't see it. You can see now that it is on fire and it's burning this wood. Now, denatured alcohol is the traditional way to use for these little, you still are actually probably a little bit better off buying the heat.